Hello and welcome to Know Your Cash, a consumer education campaign sponsored by SAIA, the South African Insurance Association. My name is Nicolette Mashile, also known as the Financial Bunny, and on this week we're talking about savings and investing. Now, of course, many of us use the word saving and investing interchangeably, but there is a huge difference when it comes to the two concepts, and you as a student need to actually build an attitude and a culture towards both savings and investing. Here's an easy way to understand the difference between the two. When you are saving, you are putting a portion of your income for future use. So basically, you are saying, I'm going to delay when I'm going to use this money so that in the future, I'm able to have access to some money to be able to use it for whatever it is that you want. Let's say, for instance, you would like to buy a pair of sneakers and you can't afford it right now, but you can start putting money away so that you can buy that pair of sneakers in the future. So you start putting away 100 Rand every single month. What you're essentially doing is saying or making the decision not to spend that 100 Rand at that specific point in time, and you are putting it away because in the near future you are going to be able to afford to buy yourself a brand new pair of sneakers. Now, this is really important to start as young as possible because of a small little thing called compound interest. What is compound interest? Well, compound interest basically is money earning interest and then earning more interest over the interest that it's already earned. Imali izala imani. Money bears more money. Very important for you to understand that, and it's a good principle for you as a person to always pay yourself first. And the principle of paying yourself first comes with the idea or the concept of being able to save some money. And I think the most important thing when it comes to saving is that it needs to become a culture and you need to do it routinely. And for you to be able to gain financial success, it's important that saving becomes a routine in your life, because once you get into that habit of saving, it will become something that is organic and happens immediately when you do get your income. There are 3 time periods when it comes to your savings, and these are attached to your financial goals. There's short-term, mid-term, and long-term time periods. Let's look at the first time period, the short-term time period, which is attached to your short-term goals. What are your short-term goals? Well, these are goals that you will be looking to achieve between 1 to 12 months. Very simplistic goals. Let's say you want to go on holiday. You want to go on holiday and you've got 12 months to be able to save for your holiday. You know exactly when the holiday is going to happen and you know exactly how much time you've got. But you've got a short period of time to be able to achieve this. So you would then be looking at an ordinary savings account or a fixed deposit account that has a 12 months maturity where you would be saving. The next time period would be your medium time period, which again is also attached to your mid-term goal, right? Now, when it comes to your mid-term goal, we're looking at something that you're probably wanting to achieve between 3 to 5 years. This is a little bit probably more expensive, and it's something that you really need to sit down and think about, because it will take you finding the right savings instrument for you to be able to reach that goal. So now you're looking at something like a mutual investment savings account, or you're looking at something that is a fixed deposit savings account, maybe for 3 years or for 5 years, or maybe you're looking at things like your retail bonds or your government bonds. And the last time period is obviously the long-term period, again attached to your long-term financial goals. This is now something that you would like to achieve between 5 to 10 to 20 years. It's a long-term goal. It could be something like saving some money to be able to pay down your student loan or your NASFAS loan, or perhaps even put down some money to be able to buy yourself a car. You can start right now when you are still a student. You can start putting that money away in a flexible mutual fund or perhaps in a fixed deposit account where you are now saving for a longer goal, a bigger goal, something that you really would like to achieve in the longer period, right? So that would be now your long-term goal, which would fall under your long-term period. Now, when it comes to savings, there are 2 types of contributions that you can make. The guys that know your cash talk about the lump sum contribution or the monthly recurring contribution. Now, of course, when we talk about the lump sum, there are some people that are lucky enough to be able to make a lump sum savings contribution. What does that look like? It is when, for instance, somebody has given you a lump sum of money. Say, for instance, you are lucky enough to get an inheritance from your parents and they give you 10,000 Rand and they say, daughter, son, here's 10,000 200,000 Rand, do what you want to do with it. And then what you would do is perhaps maybe you'd go and open a savings account and put the entire amount of money in there, hoping that you will be able to access it after a couple of months or whenever it is that you need it in your foreseeable financial future, right? The other one is the recurring contribution. This is where you put in a certain amount of money every single month, and you do it periodically up until you feel that you've now saved the right amount of money for you to be able to attain your financial goal. Now let's move on to investing. What is investing? Well, basically investing is being able to put your money or buy a financial product or service that is going to allow you to earn some sort of interest or appreciation of that asset. Let me try and simplify it as simple as possible with an example. You buy a property. When you buy a property, you are hoping that that property is going to generate you either rental income or it's going to appreciate in value. So let's say you buy your property at 200,000 Rand. Number one, that property, if it is paid off, it will give you rental income because you might be renting it out to somebody else. But if you choose to live in that property, it is also going to give you what we call appreciation. So over the years, the price of that or the value of that property is going to grow. So when you look at the amount of money you use to actually pay for the property versus the value of that property after a couple of years, you will be able to see where you actually invest some sort of capital from putting your money into that property. And that is investing. We want the money to actually grow. We want the investment that you have made to grow either as income or interest that you are generating or as appreciation in value of the specific asset that you have invested into. So there are different types of investments. Let's start off with the bonds. Now, bonds basically are you investing in debt, right? So they can be, you can buy mutual bonds, you can invest in retail bonds, you can invest in government bonds. Basically, your initial amount that you are actually investing is protected while you are earning interest. These are seen as probably the less risky types of investing. Then there is shares and the stock market, probably my favorite, because it is literally buying a portion of a company that you might be interested in. So let's say, for instance, you are somebody that uses Vodacom. You can buy Vodacom share so that when you consume Vodacom data, Vodacom airtime, you are in turn also making money for your own pocket because you become a shareholder of Vodacom. Now, it's important to remember that the share market is very, very volatile. Looking at the global pandemic that we're currently finding ourselves in, you can already see what is happening in the market, and it's actually the share and the stock market that is taking the biggest beating right now. When it comes to the stock market, it is very, very important to make sure that you are buying a variety of stocks instead of just concentrating on one specific company. Or you can buy them in different other product classes like unit trusts or ETFs, where there is a mix of different asset classes, especially when it comes to equities, there is a range of different equities. This is called diversification. In simple terms, it's not putting all your eggs in one basket, because if something is to happen to company A and you've only invested into company A, you can lose your entire capital. So what are you doing when you're diversifying? Basically, you are hedging your risk and you're reducing your risk across a number of stocks or shares of companies. The next investment vehicle we're going to talk about is mutual funds. Now, these are less risky in comparison to individual stocks. Why? Because they apply the concept of diversification. So these are little groups of equities that are managed by investment experts who have already made sure that they're reducing the risk when you invest in this investment vehicle. Next on our list is real estate. Again, one of my favorites. This is when you invest in the real estate market or in actual property, and it can be for personal or for commercial use. So how do you make your money from real estate? Well, you can make your money from interest that you generate if you are buying property shares, if you're investing in real investment trusts, or you can actually make your money from rental income if you are buying brick and mortar and you actually have properties that you are renting out. And then also, obviously, you can make your money from appreciation of the value of the actual asset that you are buying within the real estate investments. And the last investment vehicle we're going to talk about is commodities. Now, commodities is a basic good in commerce that is interchangeable for other commodities. Things that are used in production of other goods and services. Now, of course, these are susceptible to the market and the prices are always changing. So it's quite a volatile investment vehicle and quite one of the riskier investment vehicles that you can definitely invest in. And that is all I have on savings and investments. Now, if you want to watch more of our videos, download the Know Your Cash app either on iOS or on Android, or you can join us on all our social media pages. They are Know Your Cash. This initiative was brought to you by the Financial Care Corporation.